there comes points, especially in the New Testament, where there are translations that leave certain stories out, and they say it's because they're not in the manuscripts. So like the example, the first one that was brought up to me is in John 7, end of John 7 and then beginning of John 8. There's the story of the woman that's caught in adultery. She's brought before Jesus. They're ready to stone her. Jesus writes something in the dirt. We don't know what he wrote. And then they run away. He tells the woman, go and sin no more. And then some of your Bibles might have a footnote that says this story from John 7:53 to John 8:11 is not found in the oldest manuscripts. And there's other stories like that where you have
very few.
End of Matthew 16.
Very few.
Or Mark 16.
Yep, the longer ending to the book of Mark. There's one phrase in Luke 23 that Jesus says that's not in some of the older manuscripts, but it is in others. So how do we, if a skeptic is coming to us saying like, hey, your own Bible says that you have stories in there that aren't even in the oldest manuscripts, how can you trust that? What do we do with those stories?
I would love to have that kind of conversation, because I would just simply say that's why we can trust it, because we know these are the oldest reliable manuscripts. Mm-hmm. That's where we're going to be our source. So I know for all of us on the teaching team, we're very aware of those passages and handle them, I would say, delicately. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that they didn't happen. Right. It just means that they weren't in the oldest manuscripts.
That we have found so far.
Right? Yeah. So what do you do with that? I typically don't preach or teach a lot from the end of Mark, mm-hmm. From that particular passage, but that's not something I'm going to fight over.
Yeah.
I'd say the authenticity of Bible translators to say, hey, look, here's the dilemma we know.
Right.
It was in a ton of manuscripts, but it's not some of the oldest ones.
Yep.
We're not sure what to do with it. For us to throw it away would seem like dishonoring God. For us to just put it in and not say it would be dishonoring God.
Yep.
We'll put it in with a footnote. Yep. And here it is.
Very transparent.
Man, if all of our leaders in every facet of life felt the same way about.
Yep. Yeah. Yep, and I think it's important, again, I listed a few passages here. If you look those up, if you were to remove those,
it changes nothing.
Theology doesn't change at all. Right. Jesus is still who he is. God is who he says he is. That story still plays out.
Still one way to heaven, only through Jesus.
Exactly.
That's it. There's no other magical.
Yep, that's great. Good stuff.